Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Students, in last week video we already completed basic concept of chemistry chapter. So from this week or from this video onwards I am going to start structure of atom, which is our second chapter. Student, the name structure of atom looks like you only discuss about the structure of atom in these chapters, like the topics which we first time studied in class 9th. There is the same chapter, structure of atom. Yes, no doubt students, some of the topic is similar to that chapter only, like the properties of anode rays, the properties of cathode rays, right? That is discovery of electron, proton and neutron. Yes, these topics are going to repeat, and I already explained the sum of the properties of electron, proton and neutron. Okay, but yes, we just discussed some properties of electron, proton, cathode rays and all. That topics are only important for theoretical point of view only, but actually in this chapter we are not going to discuss only this thing. Actually in this chapter mainly it contains the dual behavior of light, right? Dual behavior of light, where we studied the two concept of energies, where in the form of mass in the form of mass, and second in the form of wave, means wave function and mass function related, where we studied about that Einstein concept as well as the Planck's concept, and like spectrum here we studied, and some splitting series we can say, that is the spectrum series, such as Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett, Fippe. That means the spectrum series we are studied here. Then we are going to study about that structure of atom related, like especially we studied the configuration, that that orbital classification, that how we can arrange the electrons in different cells. Student, in class 9 you just studied about only the 4 cell KLMN is only given in your textbook, but here we studied about all these 7 orbits, right? How these electrons are arranged, as well as we going to study about the orbitals, right? And some different concept which is used for the configuration, because if you you remember the things of configuration, where we just applied the concept 288, 18, 18, 32, 32 concept, right? In 7 period, these are the number of electrons. Clear? So here also we are going to write the electronic configuration. We are going to discuss about the electronic configuration, but we are using the different concept, and the concept related to is the quantum numbers. Okay, so this chapter is only theoretical as well as the numerical based, we can say. Here the two kinds, we simply say that this chapter is divided into two categories. One part where we just discuss about the different behaviors of light and its phenomenon, and second, that is quantum numbers and how it is helpful to write the configuration, to give the energy cell, to give the magnetic behavior. Means all this data we can get from this chapter, and the same topics is going to come in next year in class 12 in the same way, where we apply some of the concepts which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay students, so let's start with this chapter. Let us see what are the the common and the repeated terms which we are going to study here. So first one is the discovery of electron discharge tube experiment. So if you see that, we know that under normal conditions of pressure, a gas is a poor conductor of electricity. However, if the pressure is reduced, the gas becomes conducting. That is, electricity starts flowing through the gas. William Crookes in 1879 studied the conduction of electricity through gases at low pressure. He performed the experiment in a discharge tube, which is a cylindrical hard glass tube about 60 cm in length. It is sealed at both the ends and fitted with two metal electrodes as shown in the figure. The electrodes are connected to a source of high voltage, that is high tension battery or induction coil, while the tube is connected to a vacuum pump. In order to reduce the pressure inside it, the discharge tube is filled with the gas under study, and the following observation are made. So first observation is, after all this setup and the normal pressure, that is on 1 atmosphere, nothing is absorbed even by applying high voltage of 10,000 volts. This means that the gas does not conduct the electric current. Second observation is, the pressure inside the tube is slowly reduced by working the vacuum pump. When the pressure is reduced in 10 power minus 2 atmosphere, the gas is found to emit light, and the color of light depends upon the nature of the gas. Third, the emission of the light ceases when the pressure is reduced to 10 power minus 4 atmosphere. But the walls of discharge tube opposite to the cathode start glowing with a faint greenish light called fluorescence. This has been shown in the figure. So fluorescence in the glass walls of the tube opposite to cathode under reduced pressure of 10 to the power minus 4 atm. So here we can see, due to glow of this fluorescence, the thickness of the tube is increases here. This experiment shows that the fluorescence is due to the bombardment of the glass walls of the tube by the rays emitted from the cathode. These rays are called cathode rays. So this is the origin of cathode rays. Cathode rays initially originate from the metal which constitute the cathode. These are also formed due to the bombardment of the molecule of the gas inside the discharge tube by the high speed particles, which is electrons, which are emitted from the cathode. So this is the discussion of how these cathode rays are formed, how these cathode rays are originated. Now what are the properties of these cathode rays? Cathode rays travel in a straight. Students, these topics are very much theoretical, from exam point of view. Just the questions are like, write 2 or 3 properties of cathode rays, right? Or which among the following, suppose it's the MCQ type, so 4 options are given, only one can be correct or only one can be incorrect. That which among the following is the correct properties of the cathode rays, which among the following is not the properties of cathode. In this way, or simply write 1 or 2 properties of cathode rays. These kind of questions are possible from this topic only, because students, these are the repetition of the topic which you already studied in class 9, right? So we mainly focus on the topic which are actually new in class 11, right? But I want to just discuss some point for your just revision part. Okay, so don't take so much in stress on this particular topic. You just read it properly, thoroughly, you get a complete idea. So cathode rays travel in a straight line. Now cathode rays are made up of material particle. If material particle means having some mass. If a light paddle wheel made from mica and mounted on an axis is placed in the path of the cathode ray, it starts rotating, and this shows that the cathode rays consist of material particles. So students, each topics are common in class 9th. Now third, cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles. So when electric field is applied on the cathode rays with the help of a pair of metal plates as shown in figure 2.5, these are found to be deflected towards the positive plate, indicating the presence of negative charge. Similarly, when a magnetic field is applied, these are deflected in a direction which shows that they carry negative charge. So cathode rays, fourth point, cathode rays produce heating effect. When these rays are made to strike on a metal foil, the latter gets heated, right? So it indicates here it produces the heating effect. Now cathode rays produce X-rays when they strike on surface of the hard metals such as tungsten, copper, molybdenum, etc. Okay, straight. So these we can use like the questions. I already told you that, right? 1, 2, 3, right? The short questions can be possible. These are the properties of cathode rays. So that is enough, right? More than 5. It's not means that only 5 cathode rays properties are there. More than 5 is also there. But yes, these are enough. So finally, what we get regarding the definition part, if you want to use the cathode rays concept, okay, the mass of electron is so small that is almost negligible. Similarly, the charge on electron is the smallest known charge and is regarded as a unit negative charge. In the light of this, an electron may be defined as a fundamental particle present in an atom which carries one unit negative charge and a negligible mass, which is 9.1 in 10 power minus 28 gram or 10 power minus 31 kg. Now which is 1/1837 of the. Now electron as a universal particle, electrons are the constituent of cathode rays which are formed in the discharge tube. In addition, the electrons may also originate from a number of sources. For example, from a heated metal filament, by exposing active metals like sodium and potassium to ultraviolet rays, from radioactive substances in the form of beta rays. Okay, it may be noted that the values of charge, mass and their ratio, that is E by m, always remain the same whatever may be its source of origin. Therefore, an electron is regarded as universal particle. So these are the topic, student. Very simply we just get the new topic like that. If you understood the cathode rays, what are cathode rays actually? So these are nothing but, their particles are electrons only, right? So these electrons are present in cathode rays. Now discovery of proton and anode rays. So like cathode rays, here is the one experiment discussion. We know that an atom is electrically neutral. The emission of negatively charged electrons from the atoms of the gases in the discharge tube suggests that some positively charged particle must also be present in them. In 1886, Goldstein modified the discharge tube by using a perforated cathode as shown in figure. On reducing the pressure, he observed a new type of luminous rays passing through the holes or perforations of the cathode and moving in a direction opposite to the cathode rays. Thus, these rays consisted of positively charged particles moving away from the anode and were named as positive rays or anode rays or as canal rays. So, origin of the anode rays, it's believed that the positively charged particles which constitute the anode rays are formed when electrons are knocked out from the atoms or molecules of the gas inside the discharge tube by particles of the. So here are some properties of anode rays. So students, once again in class 11th onwards, there is no such kind of question explain the formation or origin of anode rays and all. That's why I just tell you about some ideas only regarding this particular topic. So from the properties of anode rays also we can write 2-3 points, that is enough. Like anode rays are not emitted from the anode but from a space between anode and cathode. And regarding that properties, you can write like anode rays travel in a straight line. Anode rays consist of material particles. They rotate a light paddle wheel placed in their path. Anode rays are deflected by electric and magnetic field, but this is opposite to the deflection noticed in the cathode rays. This shows that anode rays consist of positively charged particles. So where in the case of cathode ray we see that these are deflected towards the positively charged plates, so definitely they are negatively charged, and these rays are moving just opposite to the direction of cathode rays. So it indicates that if cathode rays are negatively, so these are positively charged. And the value of positive charge on the particles constituting the anode rays depends upon the nature of the gas in the discharge tube. However, it is found to be a whole number multiple of the charge on the electron but with positive sign. Thus, the particle constituting anode rays may carry 1, 2, 3 units of positive charge depending upon the number of electrons knocked out from the gaseous atom. Now the value of E by m ratio also depends upon the nature of the gas enclosed in the discharge tube. When hydrogen gas is enclosed, the value is found to be maximum 9.58 into 10⁴ coulomb per gram. This is quite expected because the hydrogen atom is the lightest. The magnitude of the positive charge is the same as on the electron. The mass of the positively charged particle may be calculated as, so students, I already told you the summary part of electron, proton, neutron, right? What is the mass, what is the charge, where these are located. But yes, these are some, like, very simply you just write 1 or 2 properties from each cathode rays and anode rays, that is enough. So from that anode rays part we get the definition of proton. It may be defined as the fundamental particles in an atom which carries 1 unit positive charge and 1.67 10⁻24 gram mass, equal to that of hydrogen atom. So student, I already told you all these things, but yes, these are actually in this particular chapter, that's why all these things are given. Now, properties of waves. Students, now from this topic onwards, I actually going to enter to the topic which is actually new in this chapter. So I already told you that we are going to discuss about the 2 type of concept, that is the wave concept and the particles concept. So before starting off by adding this wave concept to the light, first of all I want to discuss a point or some characteristics of wave. So here the points are like, it starts with the wavelength. So student, you can see this structure of wave. The height, that is the topmost, that is crest, and the downward, it is called trough, and the distance between 2 consecutive crest or 2 consecutive trough is called wavelength, which is represented by lambda. Okay, and their unit are like angstrom, nanometer, picometer, and here the unit conversions are given like 1 angstrom equal to 10⁻10 meter, right? Like 1 micron equal to 10⁻6 meter, 1 millimicron means 10⁻9 meter, 1 nanometer means 10⁻9 meter, 1 picometer means 10⁻12 meter. Okay students, so first one is the frequency, the number of wavelength which pass through a point in 1 second, or number of waves in 1 second is called frequency. Its unit is cycle per second or hertz, after the name of Henry's hertz. Student, next characteristic of a wave is amplitude. Is the height of the crest or the depth of the trough, and it is also expressed in the unit of length. Now velocity, c. Actually students, here we actually use this velocity concept in the case of light, and I just want to discuss a very simple point, the difference between speed and velocity, right? One is scalar, another is vector. So in the case of light, actually speed and velocity having the same meaning. Why? Because we know very well light always travels in a straight line. Okay, so for light, velocity and speed is same and its symbol is c. We just use the concept of wave only. So velocity of a wave is the linear distance traveled by the wave in 1 second. It is measured in meter per second and its symbol is c. Next is wave number, students. It may be defined as the number of wavelength which can be accommodated in 1 centimeter length along the direction of propagation. The SI unit of nu bar is meter inverse, but the unit centimeter inverse is also commonly used. And wave number is simply, we can also say that it is the reciprocal of wavelength. So wave number nu bar is equal to 1 upon lambda. Now students, see the relation between wavelength, frequency and wave number. Student, frequency is the number of waves in 1 second, and the distance between one wave is called wavelength. So suppose in 1 second 10 waves are formed, and in one waves 5 centimeter distance is covered. So how many distance, or what is the distance covered by the wave in 1 second? So total wave 10 and the distance between one wave is 5. So total is 10 into 5, 50, right? So if you just put in the form of the symbol, the number of wave is represented by frequency, that is nu, and the distance is represented by lambda. So what we get? Nu into lambda. and this distance which is traveled in 1 second is actually called what? Velocity. So we get a relation that c equal to nu lambda, or very simply you can say that velocity is equal to wavelength into frequency. So from here we can write velocity equal to c upon lambda, and the student lambda equal to 1 by nu bar, or nu bar equal to 1 by lambda. Okay, so here we get some relation which we are going to use for the numerical purposes. And student, one more thing, in the case of speed of light, that is the velocity of light, and we know very well it is constant, its value is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So your units are very much important. So I hope all these characteristic of wave is clear to you: wavelength, amplitude, frequency, velocity, wave number, right? And these terms we are going to use in the form of numericals. So here our first formula, we can very simply say that our first formula is c equal to nu lambda, and lambda equal to 1 by nu bar, or nu bar equal to 1 by lambda. Now this is the order, we can say, electromagnetic spectrum. We have discussed that different types of electromagnetic waves or radiations differ with respect to wavelength and frequency. Since the product of this, that is velocity of light, is constant, this means that greater the wavelength, smaller will be the frequency, and vice versa, right? So this is very much important: greater the wavelength, smaller will be frequency, right? And if smaller the wavelength, then greater will be frequency. The wavelength of electromagnetic waves increases in the order, wavelength increases in the following order. So lowest is the cosmic, then gamma, then X, then ultra, visible, infrared, microwaves, and radio waves. So highest wavelength is of radio waves. The complete range of the electromagnetic wave is known as electromagnetic spectrum, and may be defined as the arrangement of different electromagnetic radiations in order of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency, right? So we get the definition of electromagnetic spectrum. It's very simply a kind of arrangement of different electromagnetic radiations, either in the order of increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency, because they are reciprocal to each other. So I hope this electromagnetic spectrum point is also clear to you, students. Now by using the wave concept, we are going to discuss the first concept, that is according to wave, Planck's quantum theory. Okay student, so according to Planck's, it states that, right, the energy of each quantum is directly proportional to the frequency of the radiation, right? This is a statement of Planck's. Now in order to explain this, Max Planck in 1900 put forward the theory known as Planck's quantum theory, and it regards electromagnetic radiation made up of particles, and this was further extended by Einstein in 1905. The main points of theory are: the radiant energy is emitted or absorbed discontinuously in the form of small energy packets called quanta, and in case of light, these energy packets are known as photons. So very simply, quanta or photons are simply a kind of energy packets, and the energy of each quantum is directly proportional to the frequency of radiation. So here we get the relation with the energy and frequency, so E proportional to nu. Then after removal of proportional sign, E equal to h nu, and for nu we can write c upon lambda from the equation c equal to nu lambda. So here we finally get E equal to sc upon lambda. Here h is a constant known as Planck's constant, right? And the above equation is, or expression is, the mathematical expression of Planck's, and the value of Planck's constant is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, or in kilojoule it is going to be kilojoule second per mole. It's going to be 3.99 into 10 power minus 13. So generally, student, we are using the value of h is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34. Now the total amount of energy emitted or absorbed by a body is some whole number of integral multiple of quantum. Because students, see, this E equal to h nu is the calculation of energy of one photon. So for n number, that number is multiplied with h nu. So we get E equal to nh nu. Okay students, and here n is an integer. The energy associated with Avogadro number of quantum is called Einstein of energy. Its value may be given as equal to n naught sc upon lambda. So instead, suppose directly means we are going to calculate the energy of Avogadro number of particle. So our n is actually Avogadro number, that is n naught. So this is the mathematical form. This is the discussion of this particle nature of electromagnetic radiation, from where we are going to discuss about the Planck's quantum theory of radiation, where we actually use the concept of wave, right? That's why you compare with that, it is directly proportional to frequency, right? Now let us see some numerical problem. Frequency is given. Calculate the wavelength and electromagnetic radiation emitted by transmitter. So we just make a data. We are going to find wavelength. Frequency is given. We just use the formula C equal to nu lambda, because C is constant, nu is given, then lambda equal to C upon nu, right? We just put all this value. But one more thing, student, we have to convert kilohertz into hertz. So after putting this value, we get this answer. Now second question is, a sodium means the first form numerical is based on the first simplest formula, C equal to nu lambda. Nu is given, C is constant, we just find lambda. A sodium street light gives off yellow light that has a wavelength of 589 nanometer. What is the frequency of this light? Now again student, here wavelength is given, we are going to find frequency. Once again, C is constant. Now one more important thing student, the unit is very much important. So here nanometer is given, wavelength is in nanometer. So what unit we are going to convert? So student, the speed of light, that is C, is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So we have to put or convert this nanometer into meter. That we have to multiply 589 into 10 power minus 9. Okay, so we get lambda. Very simple student. I already told you, earlier that whenever you are going to solve numerical problem, you try to write the given terms, then applied formula, and then put all these value. So student, I hope this Planck's concept, the wave characteristics, is going to clear. And once again, from this theoretical data, cathode rays, anode rays, right? You just one or two properties are important only. You just read this initial topics, which is a repetition of class 9 structure of atom topics. Actually, from this Planck's concept onwards, our new topic, which is important in this chapter, is already started, and in next video I will continue with that topic. And yes, once again, if any queries is required any related to admission, you help the students, right? I already providing you that link. Once again, I am going to attach that part. Okay, thank you. Students, once again at last, if any student having any query regarding the admission process and all, right, so please guide them. Please provide them these numbers shown in the screen.